Public Works and Safety meeting to order for August 22nd, 2018. Staff, please note the presence of quorum.
We do have a quorum.
Thank you. On to action item number 1, consideration of minutes from July 25th, 2018. Having had opportunity to review those minutes, are there any additions, corrections, or comments?
No.
No.
Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second?
A motion made and seconded to approve action item number 1. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. On to action item number 2, lighting project inspection contract.
So as you guys know, a couple of years ago received federal funding for a lighting improvement project for roundabouts throughout all of Westfield.
And a few intersections.
A few T intersections, yep. About $1 million, so we are finally going to construction on that. It's been a long time. These guys are starting construction. I think they've ordered materials, correct me if I'm wrong, but they've ordered or will be ordering materials, so we have federal funds for inspection. So this is for the inspection of that project. It's basically paperwork stuff. There's not much to inspect, honestly, but.
Is it all roundabouts? I didn't see, it's a
Yes.
long document, I didn't see.
So I don't know if there's an exhibit in the back of this, but it is
Is there a hierarchy?
Any roundabout that we have constructed in Westfield will have lights at the tail end of this.
Okay.
So 151st and Cary, an old roundabout, that's getting retrofitted with lighting. All the new projects, since we applied for this and knew this project was coming, we've put in the conduits, we put in the foundation, so we didn't have to be invasive with the project. So all they're gonna do is top it out and wire it. So it should be pretty streamlined, should be pretty clean, but Vicky's group's gonna do a great job of messaging, communicating with the public when the time comes. So it should be very seamless. You'll just notice one night there will be lights up. So we've been working also on the front end with Duke Energy to get service points put in to get everything powered. Usually in it, yeah. Usually they accommodate and will work with us to make sure it's timed up appropriately.
This bid quite a while ago.
It bid in July, early July.
Okay, so this is just the inspection.
The inspection.
contract.
They're getting ready.
To begin soon?
Yep.
You said?
Any day now.
What is our completion?
So we've given them until summer of next year to get complete. So
Is Dustin handling this internally?
Dustin is.
All right,
Yeah.
Dustin.
So you know it's in good hands.
We'll get some things lit up.
That's right. Light it up.
For what it's worth, it's not directly applicable to this, but if I don't say something, I'll forget. And I don't know, we can talk about this offline later, but I've had a couple of people talk to me who maybe don't live around here that work where I work, and they're not used to traffic circles, right? And they thought there were no speed limit signs, and I actually drove them out and pointed to the directional signs that show it, that show the 15.
Yep. 15
So that's good.
Except at 191st and East Street.
191st and yeah.
That's-
They don't have them? Advisories? Or you can travel?
That is not up to our city standards yet.
That's a problem. But yeah, what was your question?
So one of the suggestions was that, and I don't know how effective it would be, I have my doubts, but Carmel has this single page document that they put out on their city page that explains traffic circles and how they operate and,
Yep.
and that. And I had someone email me one of those this week and said, hey, could Westfield do something like this?
Shoot it to me if you would. I'll work with Vicky's group and we can certainly blast
I think
something
they have
out.
videos too. My daughter's about to watch it.
Okay, but it was just a thought, and it's lighting is a safety issue.
Yep.
Signage is a safety issue, and education can often go a long way.
And as many
So,
visitors as we have at Grand Park in particular, I think that's a great call.
might even be a handout or something they could have, or it could be on the back of something
Yep.
at Grand Park, the back page of something.
Shoot that to me if you would.
Okay, I'll send it to you. It looks pretty nice.
Yeah, good.
All right.
Yeah, did you read Kravitz's article after the last day of practice?
I did not,
It's
sir.
about, he ended his whole article by saying something about, and as I look in the rear view mirror and say goodbye to Westfield and all its roundabouts.
That's awesome. That's funny. And
All right, I didn't mean to get us down in the weeds.
You did.
Sorry, sir.
Now it's not gonna be 8 minutes.
So,
Any other discussion on the lighting project?
Make a motion to approve action item number 2, lighting project inspection contract.
second.
Have a motion made and seconded to approve action item number 2. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. On to action item number 3, State Road 32 NDOT funding agreement.
So this is a big one. Great news for all of Westfield. We are solving, hopefully with this project, our downtown congestion issues. So NDOT approached us back in January, February timeframe and said they're getting ready to do some pavement maintenance work along 32 east of Poplar all the way through Westfield. And in those conversations, we kind of put it on pause and said, let's rethink this. What about this? And this is what we've come up with. This agreement is a funding agreement to collaborate with NDOT on reconstructing 32 from basically Poplar Street all the way to East Street, which includes a roundabout here. So this roundabout over here is the existing, built with 31 project a couple years ago at Shamrock Poplar. And this is a future roundabout here at East Street.
That's part of this project.
That's part of this project, correct. So the limits of this project include everything in green arrows. So outside of that project, Westfield will tackle a local project, picking up on the south leg of East Street, carrying this alignment over who knows where and how, but over to Union Street to basically build that frontage road along the south side of 32.
So we'll go all the way to Union, not just to like
That's correct.
Cherry or something.
That's correct. All the way to Union, yep.
I love it.
So this is, our goal is to get design kicked off in the next couple weeks, so survey crews out there before the snow flies, which is important, otherwise we lose 6 months on schedule. So NDOT has been gracious. We've cattle prodded as much as we can to push them along. It's come to fruition relatively quickly.
I'm shocked.
Yeah, me too.
So the green area on 32, not
Yep.
the bracketed area on the right, but the green area through downtown.
Yep.
What changes there?
So right now it's a single lane each direction. So
Right.
eastbound and westbound both have a single lane. There is very limited infrastructure at Union Street with respect to turn lanes and all that, storage lanes, all that kind of stuff. So this project will expand 32 multi-lane each direction, so 2 lanes each direction.
Can you blow up that?
I can. This is not actually designed, but it is.
Zoom in.
Yeah, zoom in on a picture.
Oh, the
Yeah.
cross section, yeah.
Yeah.
So
Kate, this was the design that was done 6 or 7 years ago and developed by the Grand Junction Task Group. An engineering firm came up with, 3 or 4 different
at least 3 options.
proposal options, yeah. And this is the one that everybody approved. It's in essence, we want to do 4 lanes of travel and curb lane being parking during off-peak hours. We'll
So-
debate that with NDOT later.
It's already, they're good.
There
So
are,
on
they
board.
said they didn't know if they could do that.
where it's
It's
papered.
in there.
All right, so that's in there too. So the center is going to be heavily landscaped except where there's left turns, which is pretty limited, isn't it?
That's correct. Yeah,
Left
that's one of the justifications and the reason for this extension, in case they have to limit the curb cuts on State Road 32, access control. So, and we could build that frontage road in advance, get all these folks access so that their businesses aren't disturbed for the year that we're under construction on 32.
Time frame,
Time frame.
walk me through it.
Yeah, so we're anticipating, there's a schedule. Yeah, you got it, Exhibit A. So, like I said, we're kicking off design in the next month, so you'll see survey crews out there with their robots and shooting stakes in. That'll take probably a month or two to get survey, and then they'll immediately start design, so start doing geometric layout. The hardest part of this project is the environmental process, so we have to go through, there's potential historic areas in this, as you have probably read in the paper. So we're anticipating and planning for an 18 to 24 month environmental process, which is a long, long time. So all in all, we have construction slated for starting construction in 22.
I think the important thing to mention too is NDOT is contributing $7.5 million to this project. I think we, I don't know if we touched on
It's a
that.
50-50 split, right?
Yep, that's correct.
That's for
Okay,
right-of-way
that was our
acquisition and
agreement that
construction.
we'd reached. John will be our engineer on the project. He has a huge challenge because this is a very unusual arrangement where, although this is state property, we are doing the engineering work. NDOT is doing the land acquisition,
Correct?
but we are managing the project, and it's John, even though it's state property. And then once we do it and do it well, we'll turn NDOT's property back to NDOT. So it's quite unusual.
It's unusual in the fact that the city actually has a hand in
We're
controlling the
actually
project.
controlling the project.
That's a good unusual.
Well,
Great.
if we have the people to do it with, and we do, yes, it's a good thing. I would not do it if we didn't have the right people. But if we can run a Colts camp, heck, we can build it.
Build a mile of road.
Half mile, yeah.
Yeah, it's a relatively short project. Any
Is the-
question?
I have one question. Interlocal agreement, has that been approved by city council?
It will go through city council. So that's it, yeah.
I want to come through here to also.
All right.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, I'll make a motion to approve action item number 3, State Road 32 NDOT funding agreement.
Second?
A motion made and seconded to approve action item number 3. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Good question, Ron.
On to the consent agenda. Anyone need any discussion on that or explanation? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion on the consent agenda.
Make a motion to approve the consent agenda as stated.
I
I will abstain.
will second that. Let the record show the mayor's abstaining from the vote. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. On to department reports. Chief Reed.
Want me to drive that thing, or are you gonna?
Totally up to you.
Give you some control.
Be pretty quick. For 281 calls for July. That's the breakdown.
Hey, Chief.
Yes, sir.
Interrupt you, but I think we mentioned this, but I guess I didn't emphasize it. I'd really like to see not only the current, but I'd like to see year-to-date. And
It's coming.
okay, but I'd like to see it all like July 18 compared to a year ago, or year-to-date compared to a year ago or something.
Okay.
If you could do that,
Yeah.
okay.
That's not something that, those are mostly internal pieces. These are the drivers on the medical side of it, so in July, and you'll see a correlation between that and total year calls in terms of our care facilities. Grand Park, we did have a little bit, that's not something that's typical, right? And I think most times, that number is 1 or 2 probably per a month. Obviously, this month, there were a couple of drivers to that. Obviously, Colts Camp was a large part of that. And a lot of baseball stuff this last go around.
I noticed that.
A lot of baseball stuff from kids just getting hit with stuff. Out of these 15, 7 of them were what we would call traumatic type injuries, which are umpires got hit by balls, and there was just a whole bunch of pieces. So between Colts Camp and that, we just had
I wonder why the uptick in the baseball.
I don't know. It was just, I'm just telling you, this is probably roughly 15 times what we normally generate in a monthly situation. Everybody's been here and seen that. So.
Have you had any discussion with the baseball people out there about this?
No, we did not.
I think you should. Get a hold of Ken Coker.
Umpire, well, some of it's just some umpire got hit with the tick foul ball.
But there's something weird. I'd like for you to get a hold of Ken Coker
Yeah.
and make him aware of it. Maybe they've changed umpire companies, or maybe something's weird. Just express your
Yeah.
surprise before I send them a bill.
That again is just, again, breakdown for the month. And fire and EMS for the year. So that's how that breaks out for the year. So that's typical, 65, 70, what we do as medical. We have a couple of fires, and so that's basically what, that's fire loss, and that's what we protected. So in other words, when the building has a fire, there's usually something left over, hopefully not just the foundation. So, again, this is care facilities for the year, or for July. And then care facilities for the year to date. So those are our big drivers in terms of medical calls.
Chief, just to go back to the Grand Park thing,
Mhm.
I spent a lot of time out there in July, so it was extremely, I mean, we had several kids and people drop from the heat. That's not what you're
That's not a
referring to?
traumatic injury, no,
Okay.
that would have been in those onesie, twosie stuff.
Okay, got it.
But that's, again, these are our major drivers in terms of medical calls. And that's pretty much it, and just mutual aid, which those numbers are all similar.
I know it's a lot
And
of,
these are this is mostly medic calls, right? And those are, we can break those, I can break those out. I need to break those out a little bit better. Sheridan never, these are all ones where we went to Carmel, and we went to Noblesville, and we went to Sheridan.
That's how many times you went out.
Yeah.
Do you have anything that tells me how many times people come in?
Yes, I do. I do. We track that just because we have to pay attention to revenue that we lose.
Yeah,
And because that's a driver of when we might put another medic unit on, right?
okay.
you know, we've had Carmel and I think Noblesville respond to Emmy this year various times, probably when our ambulances were out.
That's how that works.
Yeah.
Yeah, and vice versa, right? We go into Noblesville. and we
Right,
go
right.
into
So
Carmel.
I've seen it.
Yeah, I'd just like to see what the balance is.
Yeah, well, it's good. I mean, we're in a good place. It's 50-50 for the most part.
Is it?
Yeah, we pay attention to that because that's,
Not Sheridan.
no, Sheridan is total, we're out there all the time. But as a general rule, we're not losing revenue on that, right? We're transporting somebody on that call. Whereas with Carmel and Noblesville, those numbers are roughly the same about them coming into our area.
Yeah.
Right? So it's kind of a revenue.
But
neutral
fire
deal.
calls in Sheridan are not that many.
No, these are mainly driven by all medic calls. That's all I got.
Any questions for Chief
That
Reed?
one?
No, don't.
I don't want to do something wrong. Better hit back.
All right, thank you. Chief Rush?
Yeah, just a couple things. Wolf's Camp, huge success. Wonderful time. I have a breakdown of numbers, volunteer and officers. I just don't have them with me right now. Maybe for next month. We're still kind of generating those, but it was all good. We had a few calls for service, not a lot. More just a mere presence of being out there. And I think I shared with you before how we did it, but we really just blacked out the dates and pulled certain people off shifts and came up with our own shift, and then supplemented it with overtime cars. But at any given time, there was 6 to 8 of us out there during practice time, and then supplemented with volunteers, which went over really, really well.
I was gonna ask you about the alumni of the Citizen Police Academy, if that went well, if that was a successful strategy.
It was awesome, actually. I think they enjoyed themselves. They worked hard, worked a lot of hours, saved us a lot of money. But at the end of the day, I talked to the mayor about it. Is a huge sense of community,
Right.
not only with our volunteers but Angie's too. It was a neat deal. Well, it really was.
It was a great opportunity as a volunteer to do that. My first time I went out, I was in the event building, and I was in front, which is pretty quiet, but then I worked the west door, and that was busy. And we were like holding the door and greeting, even if they came in multiple times, we held the door, we greeted them, and they loved it. and it was, they would stop and ask me what my name was and introduce themselves, and it was, I've done a lot of different things, and that was probably for a community service thing, that was probably the most enjoyable thing I've ever done. And I had a lot of different things that I did at different times when I was there, and wish I would have done more days. So it was a good experience all the way around from the other side of it too.
Huge sense of community, very positive feeling to the officers. The officers got to learn more about the volunteers and the Citizens Academy alumni and vice versa. The alumni loved being, it felt relevant, it felt like they had a mission. They were on the field right next to the officers, and I think they really appreciated that. And there was value to it. It wasn't like, watch this lot for us while we go over there and, do our police thing. It was, right next to each other doing the same thing and to the same mission. It was really cool.
It was busy. You were busy all the time.
Moving forward, September 4th, Jake Laird Community Day, 5 to 8 Quaker Park. Should be just like the years before, but we're gonna have music again like last year. I think it was really good for, especially some of the older adults that were there. We've, in the past, centered more for the kids, but this year there's gonna be music, and it was really good last year.
Is it gonna be in the park line?
It is. So ramping up for that. A little bit about our officers. We have Tyler Mitchell and Devin Cornwell coming in on that same day, September 4th. That'll be their first day. So that's 51 and 52, as far as if anyone keeping track of numbers. But what that does is gives us the ability to backfill those SRO spots for the next two. So, and then we had a process for that. Matt Ford will be going in as soon as there's actual week-long school for SROs. We teach them how to be SROs. So
Matt Ford is one of them?
Matt Ford will be the first one going into the high school.
Okay.
As soon as his SRO's training is over, and then we put him through a CIT training also. That's basically it's crisis intervention training, and they make a youth one, right? And what that is really, it teaches the officers how to deal with serious mental, emotional issues, which is highly relevant for that position. So he'll go in, and then we're also naming Anwar Velasquez as the next SRO that will go in mid-year, but he'll also have a dog with him. He'll have the
Friendly dog?
it'll be a friendly dog, explosive detection dog, and that training will go on. He'll go to the SRO school, CIT training school, then he'll go to dog training school, and so we're expecting him to be out. We're actually probably gonna get him in the schools a little early. It'll probably be more like November when he's done.
I'm sorry, which school is he going to?
He'll go into high school. Kim will be retiring next year, so what it's gonna look like is Matt and Anwar will be in the high school, Tyler will be in the middle school, and then we'll have Kim's replacement will be in the intermediate school and in charge of elementary schools also, until we get the fifth one. So,
Okay.
real excited about that actually.
Yeah.
We're also have Eli Stubbs in September. We'll go to canine school. We'll have a single purpose drug dog. He'll go on shift with that. So we'll have 4 dogs by the end of the year. Other than that, that's all we've got going on.
All right. Anything for Chief Rush? Thank you, sir. Public Works.
All right. So Travel Westfield, I'm sure you all have subscribed. We're trying to condense the same information into one document. So this is, I think you're getting rave reviews, I imagine, still on the communication efforts, the blasts of Travel Westfield.
We constantly get people, so subscribing.
That's good. So
What do the numbers look like right now?
I think, because we started with a blank slate, so we're probably about 600 or 700 people, and that was just all organic. And then we're
Yeah.
going to be going out to, starting in social. We kind of stayed, out of social as we get the digital side, but mainly Twitter will have its own handle, but then everything else will push through the city, Travel Westview.
So on this little weekly blast, you'll see all of our projects. So resurfacing, we're about 50% done. Is that right, Dustin? We've got a lot of stuff milled up right now. It sounds like in the next week or so we'll be pushing 75, 80%. A big list of projects that we're resurfacing. So a lot of roads. Town road closure out west, everything's going pretty smoothly. Just looked at an email with a bunch of pictures. They're pouring a moment slab for one of the box culverts, so that's starting to take shape. Phase 1, it was a 64-day closure. They're probably maybe a little over halfway, or right at the halfway mark, I'd say. And then it'll roll into phase 2 here in probably early October, late September. So everything's going pretty smoothly with that
So
one.
phase 1 reclosure is the closure. Is there other closures?
Yeah, there's one more closure to the north. So we're doing a south closure and then we're doing a north closure. So the first closure's to the south. We handle how many? 2 culverts on that one?
Correct.
So we're doing 2 culverts on the south, and then we're going to push to the north and do another culvert. So
North and south of 161, you referring to?
Yeah, 161 is the
that's the
splitting
break point. Yep.
And when will the project be finished next year?
No, it'll be in early
I'd say late November, probably.
mid-November.
Really?
Yeah.
This year?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
All right.
So yeah, we
Okay.
ran into a lot of utility, not delays, but snags that we worked through earlier this summer, and we've got a clean slate now, so everything's good. We're grooving. State Road 32, so NDOT's coming through here in the next couple weeks to start their signal modernization project. So
Do you know, are you aware where they're doing arrows and flashing yellows and all this?
I'm aware, but I'm not. I guess I don't know all the information.
Okay.
Dustin and I spoke with Scott Sipes at our last meeting for State Road 32, and
There they are.
Yeah, but what are they doing is what I want to know.
they are going to provide us the plan set for Union, as well as more concrete schedule once the contractor locks that down.
But yes, modernization. So changing the heads out, making them more visible.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but I mean for better movement, like,
Added capacity, very limited, other than at Union Street. I think Union Street's probably the only one with a capacity improvement.
but I thought at Wheeler, they were southbound to eastbound. We talked to them about doing away with the flashing yellow and going to a full green
Yes.
arrow.
Yeah.
Is that happening?
It should be. It was discussed to tackle that with this project.
Okay.
So
So like at Cary, Grassy Branch, what would they be doing there to improve anything?
changing out signal heads, putting little yellow bands around
Little
it.
orange stripes around the edge,
They
that's it.
might, it's a relatively low cost improvement for NDOT. But I think, according to them, it adds a great deal of safety, because when we get the crash reports in the entire city of Westfield,
It's always following too
97% of them are on
close.
32.
And a bunch of them are right out there.
It's the main traffic area, but it used to be 31.
Yep.
Till
Yeah.
that.
So 32. So they're doing low cost.
But I mean, it's tough. I know what the mayor's getting at, but it's not gonna solve that. The driver's inattention.
No, but, all right, it helps. That, Wheeler's the only place I know of besides Union is where we need to address, what'd you call it, capacity?
Added capacity.
Yeah,
Yep.
'cause that, yeah.
What we need is rumble strips.
Speed bumps.
Speed humps.
Something to wake
like
somebody
in Florida,
up, make
the
them
ones
look
that are
up
like
before
this
they
way.
get to the intersection. Like
Hey.
you do coming into a construction zone.
It's not a wild idea.
I know.
know.
I wasn't kidding.
Yeah, that's a low. Doesn't like striping.
But just be sure they do something about Wheeler,
Yes.
or they might as well not do anything.
Agreed. And with the Wheeler PUD coming through, hopefully that is a longer term solution for Wheeler, which includes adding turn lanes and
Yeah.
doing major.
Ultimately, that south to east movement needs to be 2 left turn lanes.
And that's what it will be. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. I'll show you that drawing.
Now, Ditch Road is a different and next year project, correct?
Yes, so Duke will start utility relocations, any ideas, October. They're doing a massive amount of transmission work with their substation at 169th. So they're wanting to finish that up before they jump on this one. So I would say October starting. So we'll go to construction in the spring. That's still the
Very
plan.
good.
Monon Trail Phase 5 had letting, everything's going pretty well. They're not going to start for a little while. It's a 6-month lead time on, or 4 to 6 month lead time on the bridge structure.
So they're not gonna start this year?
So they are, yeah. So obviously utilities are relocating. Duke's done. Comcast is wrapping up.
I got 3 more to move.
3 more to move. They'll be moving over the next month. And then they'll start doing pier foundations and building walls up. So you'll see some action here.
This fall?
Yeah. Yep. So we're gonna have a groundbreaking later this fall or early winter, whenever we want to do it.
I think it's scheduled,
Is it?
yeah.
No.
It was gonna be last week, or this week.
Yeah. So
So that's for the bridge,
that's for the bridge.
not north of
North,
100.
so Phase 7 north of 191st, they're probably 4 weeks away from having that wrapped up.
All the way to Sharon.
So it's,
And we'll be doing something for that.
we'll be doing a ribbon cutting.
Vicky says yes.
That's a pretty big deal.
That's a
There's
huge
a
deal.
lot of people that ask
Yeah.
me about it, like weekly I get asked about that. When is that gonna be done? So there's a
I'll keep
lot
in
of
contact.
more people than I
Please
thought
keep us-
ever
Yep.
concerned with that, so.
That'll be on this weekly update when we do those ribbon cuttings and groundbreakings and everything too,
I
so.
need to try to make it to both of those.
Don't skip over the totem.
The toad, I wanted to. It's coming.
Totem.
We officially
showing up.
got the NDOT permit yesterday. So the contractors gearing up, they're renting a crane, they'll be mobilizing next week, so that'll be it'll be a quick, it's already fabricated. Sitting in their industrial facility in downtown Indy, waiting on a crane to pick it up and haul it to Westfield.
The goal was it was going to be before Colts Camp.
That was the goal, and
Before we met the federal highway.
Oh, okay.
So how tall is it?
60 feet, 40 feet, one of
That's
those.
quite a bit of
40.
difference.
There's a
Give or
big
take
difference.
20.
40 feet.
Pretty sure it's 40.
Six foot by 6 foot by 40.
So does this include the bridge signage also?
This includes portions of the bridge signage. There's one portion they're still not happy with.
Does it say Graham Park?
That's the portion they're not happy with. I'll talk to you after that. So we're gonna just do what we're approved to do for now. Moving on, striping.
They're tricking Dustin.
They're tricking.
They're tricking him.
They are. So
Dustin's gonna say, gonna turn to me, he's gonna say, you told me.
he's never let me down in 4 years, so I trust Dustin more than those striping contractors. They'll be out there. We've got penalties, right?
Yeah, we got LDs in the contract. They don't make, we
So
it.
if they don't meet our schedule, then it'll hit their wallet. So that's pretty much all we've got going on. A lot of private development stuff going on too. So any questions in particular?
You've answered them.
I don't think you did a very good job of explaining everything. Thank you.
That's it. That's all we got. You? Nothing?
Not me.
No further business then, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved?
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded to adjourn the meeting. All in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed? 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 Opposed?